Good morning and welcome to the What's Up News Network, being broadcast from Panama City Beach, the home of the world's most beautiful beaches. I am Jim Free with Jim Free Realty. Please help me out and click on the red subscribe button just below the picture. The condo report this morning had 6 reports. 5 of them were new listings. On the activity report, we have 537 active units, and 289 of those are Gulf front units. If we break it down by the number of bedrooms, we have 10 5-bedroom units available, 77 4-bedroom units available, 158 3-bedrooms available, and 184 2-bedroom units. There are 170 1-bedroom units, and we have 17 studio units. Condo units that sold in the past 30 days, we had 192, and 102 of those were Gulf front units. Breaking it down by the number of bedrooms, there were no 5 bedrooms or larger sold. There were 3 4-bedroom units sold. Those were all 3 were Gulf front units. We had 38 3-bedroom units sold, 18 of which were Gulf front units. We had 89 2-bedroom units sold, 50 of which were Gulf front units. On the 1-bedrooms, we had 57 that sold, and 28 were Gulf front units. Studios, we had 5 units sold, 3 of which were Gulf front units. On the detached single-family homes, we had 259 available. 14 were Gulf front. Sold in the past 30 days, we had 122, and 5 were Gulf front units. On the attached single-family units, we had 78 available, 9 of which were Gulf front units. Those sold in the past 30 days, we had 33 units sold, and we had 2 of those were Gulf front units. Well, on the COVID scene, we were kind of thrown a curveball this morning. The state has changed their COVID-19 desktop, and I'm going to show you some of the things that we haven't quite ironed it out yet. They're trying to furnish us more information, but it's quite confusing right at this point. We have had 615,579 cases in the state of Florida, and we've had 10,067 deaths. And it's kind of ironic because in Bay County we have had 67 deaths. So that means that all over the rest of the state there are 10,000 deaths, and we contributed to 67 of those. On the local news scene, the Lynn Haven mayor, Margo Anderson, and city attorney Adam Albright are the subjects of a 64-count indictment returned Tuesday by a federal grand jury in Panama City. According to court records, they were both arrested Wednesday morning. Albritton was arrested in Lynn Haven after Hurricane Michael hit Florida Panhandle in October. Prosecutors said Albritton and Anderson extended a debris removal contract with a private company for the city. Both then had work done by the company at their homes as well as the homes of friends and relatives, and it was all charged to the city, according to the indictment. Prosecutors said that Anderson and Albritton also received kickbacks from projects that they had approved. 5 others who previously pled guilty in the case are former city manager Michael White, former community services director David Horton, erosion control specialist owner David White, ECS bookkeeping Shannon Rodriguez and Greenleaf Lawn Care and Bay County owner Joshua Anderson. They're scheduled to be sentenced September 29th in Tallahassee. From the National Association of Realtors, July construction surges to 22.6. It's the third month in a row for an increase in big gains that came from the construction of apartments and condominiums, which soared 56.7%. I don't claim to be an expert in a lot of different areas, but still, when it comes to law enforcement tactics, I do claim to have some insight into that area. And I'll give you some of my credentials. Having served in law enforcement for 37 years, having received a degree in criminal justice, a law degree, and a graduate of the FBI Academy where I received the J. Edgar Hoover Award for Scholastic Excellence, I am a lifetime member of the International Association of Chiefs of Police and a lifetime member of the Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police. I also taught defensive tactics for many years in the police academies. My dad taught me not to call people stupid or dumb. My dad was a patriot. He was part of the greatest generation, and he left to serve in World War II a few days after I was born. He was proud of his service and believed he had helped save our country from socialism, communism, and fascism. If he were alive today, I think he would be quite surprised and saddened at what's going on in our country. Out of respect for my dad, I won't call these weak-kneed leftist politicians stupid or dumb. I will say what they are doing is stupid and dumb. They are defunding the police departments, some even talking about doing away with the police departments. Even more serious, they are taking the tools away from the police officers that allow the officers to effect an arrest without causing harm to the officer or the violator. These politicians probably have never been in a fight. If they have, it was perhaps a shoving match in the middle school or in high school. I have worked alongside federal, state, and local officers, and I have never encountered an officer that started his shift with the idea that he wanted to hurt someone. They do want to come home after their shift safely. When I first started in law enforcement, there were very few women working in this field, and most of the male officers were very large, and they patrolled mostly in pairs. Today, you're likely to see women and smaller officers, and the passenger side of the police car is packed with computer equipment. When an officer starts their shift, they know they are likely to encounter one or more violators that will resist arrest, either because they're intoxicated on alcohol or drugs, or they're repeat offenders, and sometimes people with mental conditions become very difficult to control. Police officers are trained to use defensive tactics. It's a combination of martial arts and street fighting. There are only 3 ways to restrain a violent physical violator, and that is knowing that the joints are made to bend only one way, and bending them the opposite direction will cause pain, and the use of pressure points that restrict the air or blood flow. A taser is another tool that can be used. Police officers are required to experience these tactics used on them. For instance, if you carry a taser with a department, you're required to be shot with a taser to see how it feels. And I have been shot with a taser, and you just lose all control of your muscles and you will fall to the floor. But the purpose of that is so the officer can experience the pain and know how these tools react with a violator when they are applying it to the violator. You won't need to know how much pressure to apply and where to apply it in order to bring a violator under control. I have experienced violators under the influence of drugs that have superhuman strength because they could not feel pain. A person experiencing a catatonic episode can be very difficult to handle. God gave all of us a dose of adrenaline, a hormone secreted by the adrenaline gland, especially in conditions of stress or danger, increasing the rates of blood circulation, breathing, and carbohydrate metabolism, and preparing muscles for exertion. In a violent arrest, both the violator and the officer likely experience this rush. It is said that this prepares us for flight or fight. Police officers are trained not to run from danger, but to engage the threat. I've been amazed at the restraint the police officers have shown during these riots while being hit in the head with rocks and shot with firework rockets. The only tools the officers will have left is the baton and the firearm. There will be more officers and violators who will die because of these stupid ideas the leftist politicians have. If these anarchists are allowed to get away with this, they will be coming for the residential neighborhoods next. What is problematic about the stand-down orders that these leftist politicians are giving their officers in these riots see this as a weakness. They will continue to burn and destroy property, just like Minneapolis. The people that live and work in these communities are the real victims, and it will take decades to recover. They're losing businesses that will never return, and most are minority-owned businesses. You can look at the devastation in Baltimore from riots 5 years ago. They still have not recovered. 83 nights of riots in Portland. A business executive, Andrew Hoyne, president and CEO of the Portland Business Alliance, told the news media the financial consequences to the downtown corridor are a running calculation that is almost impossible to wrap your mind around. He said, with one company already saying riots have cost $20 million in damage and lost business. You have blocks and blocks of plywood. You have graffiti. You have accumulation of damages that are unrepaired and ongoing perception that coming downtown is not a safe place. We need to start to turn the corner, Hoyne said, so that this sort of irreparable damage does not last. The business leader said, it is time to speak up and stand up for this country. Until we meet again, may God bless you and this great nation.